guys, and welcome back to the Lawrence Garden Farm. Today I'm going to share with you our window box recipe for 2023. I'm going to also share with you some little tips and tricks and maintenance things that we do to keep it going. This front perennial garden was added 2 years ago, and the window boxes were here before that. Now coming into this third year, we know how big everything is and is going to get, to where we had a lot trailing down all the way down like big potato vines, the margarita variety. And you didn't even see it once this entire garden grew in here. So what we're actually doing this year, a little bit different, is we're creating the window boxes to be even more of an extension of this perennial bed. So we're not going to grow as many things that trail all the way down because you're not even going to be able to see it. Last year, everything that trailed down actually ended up getting in the way of being able to walk through this path to water and maintain it. So I decided not to have anything that gets too long, even though the iboza vine does get long, this right here. We'll go over varieties in a second. But we wanted to just, have that kind of cleared a little bit more, so that way we would be able to walk through here easier, and it'll just be a lot nicer. And because of that, we then added a lot more taller heights in here, which, we usually always do, but we did it just a little bit differently. This year we did a Prince Tut umbrella grass. It's a papyrus. This one gets 36 inches, so it's not as big as the King Tut. That is this one right here. So I wanted like something really fun. The birds are yelling at me because I'm near one of their nests. We wanted something really fun and airy, so it doesn't get as tall, but it'll get nice and tall, up to 36 inches. And then we have these cannas over here. These cannas are called the Toucan Coral by Proven Winners. It's full to part sun and gets 30 to 48 inches. So we knew that it would get around the same height as that umbrella grass in the middle, even though we know that it will eventually be kind of more of a staggered look, which we're totally okay with. Remember, the boxes will be part of the landscape look. The window boxes are going to act as a 3-tier height in the garden. And we do like when the flowers get really nice and tall in the windows. They end up covering almost completely. They usually end about right here. And it's a beautiful filtered light on the inside of the windows. It's actually like a natural curtain, and it's really fun to watch all the insects from the inside. Last year we had a lot of praying mantis and a lot of other cool things. Even just watching the bees, it was just really relaxing, and the light filtering in was just very calm and beautiful. So we prefer that. If you don't like your windows covered, then don't do a taller variety, that gets 36 to 48 inches in your window box. In between the grass and the canna, we did do a fill in with a very tall height of a coleus. Now this is Color Blaze Royale Pineapple Brandy. I used this color last year and I really loved it. That beautiful bright chartreuse lime green color with that dark graining and dark stems is just really a beautiful contrast in here. And this gets 20 to 30 inches, so it won't get as tall as the canna in the grass, but it'll fill in between just pretty, and it will highlight the canna and the grass really, really nicely. The next thing that we added into these boxes was the Truffula Pink Gomphrena. This one's also a Proven Winner variety. This gets 22 to 28 inches, and I had this in our containers last year and I just loved it. It kept its color up until the first frost. It was absolutely beautiful. So by the time it was the end of the season, it wasn't as dark in color. It was just a little bit lighter, but it still carried enough pop of color and was so beautiful and striking, and the texture. It's just so much fun to have in the window box. So we did one on the end, one in the middle here, and then one on the end over here. So we have 3 total in there. Look how pretty that is. On each end here, one there, and let's come on over to the other end. On this end over here, I have tidal waves. Now tidal waves go up and kind of fall over. They're not a huge trailer, but yet they kind of are once they go up their height and then kind of fall over when they get heavier. So this is a seeded variety. You could seed this on your own. You can find these in garden centers, but they're absolutely beautiful. And petunias always add the most color And as you can see in front of those tidal waves, we added the flowering kale. So this is the bi-color, so this will get more of like a pinker color that comes in here, and it'll gradually turn more pink in there. But the cooler it gets outside, the more colorful it is. So as things start kind of losing their color in the fall time, you know, because things get stressed and they run their course. Annuals definitely run their course. But as that time comes, these really pick up the entire combination and really kick it up a notch by adding its beautiful bright color on the center. I know it doesn't look like much right now, but even just adding those textures into a box is just really unique to do, and there's such an easy variety to seed start on your own. On this end here, you can tell that the varieties aren't as large as the other side, and that's because this side does not get as much sun. We have an overhang right here, so this probably gets 3 hours less of sunlight than everything else in the window boxes, including that second window box over there. These hot pink petunias in the front right here are beautiful full trailers. It's the Vista series by Proven Winners, and this is Vista Fuchsia, and it's just so gorgeous. It really has this full mounding habit on its own, even without all of the pinching that you normally have to do with petunias to keep them this compact while trailing and getting larger. So they're really beautiful. Last year we had Paradise, Vista Paradise in the front, but I really think I like this fuchsia even more. And it looks so good with the coral canna up here. It's so gorgeous. Who is that? And then trailing right off the front here is Super Bell's Tropical Sunrise. This is also a Proven Winner variety. I'm not always a fan of Super Bells, which are also known as Calibrachoas. In the Tropical Sunrise, that color is absolutely amazing. I think this is my new favorite color for the Super Bells. One other thing too is I always find that the Calibrachoas are so prone to getting aphids, so you want to make sure to treat these at the first sight of them, or even do a type of a preventative spray before you even see them, which just means spray them before you start seeing a problem, and that always helps. And like I said, we're not going for anything that's going to trail down and take over, so the Calibrachoa is the perfect thing to put in the middle there, so that way it doesn't trail to the ground. And then in the front here, are the Iboza vine. Sometimes when I really look at this combination, I feel like I should have added an Iboza vine right in the center too to give it even that much more of an even appearance. But then I quickly remember that this summerific hibiscus, this one gets really tall. It'll fill this whole space in, so you won't even notice that type of a difference. And that's how I designed it. I designed it how the front perennial garden grows. So as that summerific, this one's the evening rose, gets those beautiful color flowers. They're deeper in color than the Vista Fuchsia that I put in there. But that gets so huge, and then you'll notice the Iboza vines on the side. So overall, once the perennial garden does grow in, it'll really look evened out and really pretty. So I just kept all of that in mind when I was just playing around, and I don't design anything ahead of time. I just plant and see where it goes, and this is just kind of where it went this year. You can totally tell that this window box on this side gets a lot more sun because it's quite a bit bigger over here, and there's even more blossoms, and everything just seems a lot happier, even though the other box is just as happy. So then on the edges and right in the center, I actually added called Waikiki Sunset Lismachia. So this is fold apart sun. This is new for me. I didn't really know how it would perform. It looks really pretty on the edge. I don't know if it's going to trail much longer. It may eventually just get overtaken because I've already started to control some of the other varieties around here so that we could continue to get sun. And as you can see down over here, this is kind of getting overtaken by, you know, other things. And uh-oh, did this one break off? Oh no! No! I always hate whenever I see a big chunk taken out, because then that means that it looks uneven. See, it was supposed to be right there, right there. but it'll grow in. That's fine. That's that Gomphrena. It's very aggressive, but in a good way. And I guess it was meant to be. That Lysimachia needs sun. It was almost overtaken, so this will give it a chance at least. The other variety in here that is getting overtaken are these caladiums by Proven Winner. A lot of the caladiums they carry now are for sun. And this is the east side that our house faces. So east side, I always say everything because there's even amounts of sun and shade, but everything does amazing in here. So I keep controlling things around it because I'm trying to give it a chance, but the caladiums have not been doing as well throughout container gardens as I would like them to. And I think that will change now that we're getting a lot of these hot and humid streaks. We had a lot of cold mornings, cold nights, and they're not liking that, to where I think now will be the time that they really flourish. So we'll keep our eyes on those as well. Those caladiums I started from a bulb. They were sent from Proven Winners, and so we do have that in a video. So if you want to scroll back a few videos and see us start those bulbs, there's so many of them, but they were all so beautiful. And we'll share more of those throughout the containers, and we added some into our raised beds, and they look really good. It's just that they need that warm weather to really pop. So I'm really hoping that they're gonna pop, because I put so much effort, work, and time into those bulbs to get them to even pop. And now I'm really trying to get them to grow in our containers. So they're just a little slower than all of the surrounding varieties, but I'm really hoping they'll catch up. Another little cutie that's hiding in here is the Luscious Berry Blend. This is the Lantana. Look at how adorable that is. Look at the Iboza vine trying to take over there. Let's clean up some of these blossoms. There we go. We're giving it some light. See, you got to kind of control. If you're an overstuffer like me, you kind of have to control the varieties around until everything catches up. If you're really stuffing things in and you're not doing that, you're going to end up seeing only 1 or 2 varieties, and then you won't see all the other varieties that you put in there, and that is a waste of money. So we're really trying to give everything kind of its room, and because these are just so gorgeous. Now that it's hot, these are another one. Once it's hot, they take off. So that'll be popping up soon too, because these actually get 18 to 30 inches. So these should be a lot taller than Iboza vine and the Vista Petunia right now, because they're only at about 6 inches out of the dirt. This is only at around 7 inches out of the dirt. So we got to get this out a little bit more. And then once it's out, then we don't have to control all of that anymore. And then you come over here, and there it is right there. See, so the Vista is kind of coming in here a little bit. This is where I have to come in here and control. This is around the time that you control your container. Sorry, I keep saying control. I know it's probably getting annoying, but it's true. You got to get control over them, because then they turn out exactly how you envisioned them when you planted them. I have a couple other things hiding in there which I'm going to show you. And I just want to say that you can always stuff your containers with a few of the things that you seeded on your own. Varieties that are seeded are a lot more inexpensive than patented varieties such as Proven Winners. So Proven Winner brand I really like, because a lot of those plants last through the season really well. But so do seeded varieties, but seeded varieties kind of get a little bit more weathered quicker. So what I like doing is getting a few of the Proven Winner varieties, putting them in, and if I feel like it needs to be more full, then I go ahead and stuff some of those seeded varieties for that extra pop of color and filler. And I'm going to show you that because I seed so many varieties of flowers, herbs, vegetables. If you've been following us for a while, you guys know that we even sell some of them on our online store. And so it's like I like to stuff in, because I have so many. I still have so many plants because I'm still planting, right? That's just kind of how it goes when you're obsessed with gardening. You just keep going because that's what you do. You love it. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you a few more of these little seeded varieties that don't even need to be in there, but I put them in there anyway. Okay, and behind this leaf, there are actually some snapdragons. So we're going to get some snapdragons popping through here. I can't remember if these are orange or a fuchsia color, but I guess that will be part of the surprise, or maybe it's both. I'm not sure. But I put some on that side next to the canna, and over here on this side next to the canna, and they grow a lot taller, so I'm not too worried about them having any hard trouble popping up out of those varieties because they're aggressive too and fast growing. Another thing that I did add in here is on each side of this umbrella grass here, I should say the Prince Tut grass, but I actually have some spotted bee balm in here, mainly because this is a later performer, so it does hardly anything right now, as you can see. It's really tiny yet, but last year I was surprised when this magical flower appeared out of nowhere in my raised beds, and it was the spotted bee balm. It was absolutely gorgeous. So that's going to get really tall, so it's going to shoot up and get like awesome stacked layers of pink and color flowers. So that will come in later, and it'll go through the fall, which will add a nice touch along with that flowering kale over here. So it'll help transition this box from summer to fall really nicely. And then I just go through and do like the basic maintenance. I just take the bad flowers off, you know, we just keep it nice and tidy. And then when I'm controlling things, for example, we got this caladium here, and I know that this is gonna just keep growing very aggressively. So you can't be afraid to really just kind of pinch back your plants. So with this one, I kind of take this and say, hey, this is going to be growing into my caladium every single day, and I really want to give that a chance. So I'm just going to go here and just kind of take this off. It doesn't matter where you snap it back. You can just decide where you want to. Wherever you snap it back, it is going to double out in size and get fuller there, but it will at least, you know, stunt it in that location just for a little bit to allow this to get a chance. And then even with this coleus right here, you know, this one's hanging right down right there. I'm just going to go ahead and just take that all the way back. So we really don't need that anyway, because as this caladium does grow, it's going to grow in there really nicely, and we won't need that. And then I just kind of remove some of the leaves going down here, so that way they're not shading out, but yet we're also not getting rid of this foliage here, because we don't want an empty spot. We don't want it to feel like there's a hole or that it's bare, but we do want to give the caladium a chance. So I'm just going to kind of remove some of those leaves. It can always produce more leaves. We're just going to kind of go ahead and do that. So for about, you know, a few days to a week, you know, it'll sometimes feel a little, you know, gappy. Let me show you how this looks. Now you can see what it looks like. There is just that little bit of a gap, but you can't even really tell. But it's just enough to allow it to fill in, hopefully. Right now we're fertilizing once every third time we water about. They're not fully rooted, so they don't need a lot of water, these window boxes. I soak them through till they're dripping from the bottom. And when we do that, because it is earlier in the season yet and they're not rooted all the way to the bottom, that holds them wet for a good 3 to 4 days. We do have past window box recipe videos where we show you how to plant these from the beginning and what we add into our soil. We use Osmocote. It's a time-release fertilizer. So time-release fertilizer isn't the only thing that you need in your container during the season if you want them to look like ours. That is our secret. We do add time-release fertilizer in there in the beginning, which helps kick in when we get those rainy spells, but it is also good to fertilize through the water. And that's what gets it boosted, that's what gets it large, and that's why we have such large containers. Between that and all the love and care they get, you should have a beautiful container too. Now it's time to have some fun.
Long summer night, with a dead wheel of cry.
Now we're all set for the 4th of July. Happy 4th of July to all of you. Thank you so much for watching this video.
You know you broke my heart to a million pieces, and it seemed like it wasn't there at all. But you were to me just like a Sunday